You're listening to the Lanterns Radio Network. We are the network dedicated to empowering the individual, illuminating the truth, defending American exceptionalism, and inspiring future generations. Stay connected and get involved at lanterns.buzz. For great radio, get commentary and news of the day. Lanterns.buzz.
You know, I wish we could find some way to hold people accountable. Free speech is a great idea, but we're in a war.
To make sure the economy doesn't collapse, I've abandoned free market principles to save the free market system.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
You're listening to Common Sense Radio with A.J. Davis on the Lanterns Radio Network.
Welcome to the program, folks. You're listening to Common Sense Radio with Susan and AJ. How are you, Susan?
I am blessed and highly favored. AJ, how are you? And we lived through another terrorist attack today. Yay!
Woo! That's why Susan and I were talking earlier today. We wanted to play the wonderful national anthem at the Army-Navy game that our wonderful service members were playing. It's because it's a somber day here in the United States. We're all New Yorkers today. Today at 7:20 a.m., a 27-year-old Bangladeshian.
Kayed Ullah! That's his name. It sounds like Allahu Akbar, but backwards, like if you were playing one of those weird, Satan records and you rolled it backwards back in the day. Allahu Akbar, I think it is Kayed Ullah, backwards. That's his name.
Absolutely. He's a Bangladeshi immigrant with a green card who arrived in the United States in 2011. He was at one of the underground tunnels in New York City around Times Square, and I believe it was 42nd Street. It was a crowded subway passage, and the Port Authority bus terminal had a holiday image that law enforcement officials are saying caused him to blow up. Well, attempted suicide because he wasn't very smart.
Look, I'm sorry, but you know what? How incompetent can you be if you're an attempted suicide bomber? I'm just saying. I mean, he can't even get the suicide part right. He's flunked out on suicide school. I'm not impressed with this man. I mean, he's 27 and he doesn't know how to blow himself up yet. I wouldn't embrace him if I were ISIS.
No, not at all.
Obviously a flunky.
Yeah, he missed the bomb making 101. It was a pipe bomb, and I believe he was using Velcro and zip ties. I mean, who uses Velcro and zip ties? Susan, I'm not going to Harbor Freight or I'm not going to Home Depot to get zip ties. I mean,
well, I mean, how about just some plain old duct tape? I mean, unless you're too hairy, and then it's like, ow, ooh, ow, ooh. You can't. If you got to readjust the pipe bomb, I mean, just think the split second before you immolate yourself, all of that hair gets pulled out with the duct tape. I mean, but geez.
Oh
gosh, I guess you got to attach it with something. So zip ties, huh? Wow. I think we need to ban terror we need to make sure that we register all zip ties and zip tie users, because zip ties are dangerous. They help you blow up things.
Not only that, but he found out how to make this pipe bomb online. And Susan and I are calling for a new department of the government to be formed, and we want to call it DOS. And that stands for the Department of Online Services. We think every computer, every internet site should be regulated, so we do not have more things like that.
Well, yes, obviously, because, we need to regulate all of our guns. We can't, guns kill people, We have to register them. We have to register anyone who buys them. We're even registering bullets over here in California. You can't buy, after January 1st, you're not going to be able to buy bullets without going through a background check. Okay? I mean, it's going to get crazy. So you know what? Obviously, you can go online. You can Google anything, right? You can learn how to make an online bomb, just like the other terrorists back in the Boston Marathon. They figured out how to make it in a big pressure cooker, turkey pressure cooker, that thing. I mean, there's all these services online that will help kill people. So I think we need to regulate the internet. I think we need to control it and make sure that you're a registered user of your computer, and that you have to buy, permission to go on only approved governmental sites. I mean, really, China must lead the way in this. I think we just need to copy China, and we'll have a Department of Online Services, DOS, which is, for you and me, like the baby boomers, we know what DOS was. Yes. That was kind of the very first part of language in a computer. I did not take a lot of computer science, but DOS was the beginning part. So I think DOS, we need to all get behind that, and that will save lives. At least will save Bangladeshi ISIS supporter lives, right? Because they won't be able to get online and Kayed Ullah! He won't be able to go online and figure out how to almost blow himself up.
Unreal. I mean, you are using zip ties, you're using Velcro, and you are attempting to blow yourself up over an image on a wall in the Port Authority bus terminal. I mean,
well, now wait. PJ Media has got a story right now, which is actually confirming something that Rush Limbaugh predicted this morning on his show. He predicted that pretty soon that people would tie this terrorist attack, this failed terrorist attack by this wannabe suicide bomber who can't even get that right, the 27-year-old Bangladeshi, who, by the way, came over, I think, 7 years ago. This is according to Huckabee, the spokeswoman at the White House. He came over on an immigration chain, chain migration, chain immigration. That would be under Obama, also known as Barry Soetoro, the former president, right? So this Bangladeshi guy comes over and he tries to blow up, something in New York. And Rush Limbaugh called it. He said pretty soon, but before the end of the day, before about 3 o'clock, that people would start tying this fool, this 27-year-old inept suicide attempter, to Donald Trump. And he would blame Donald Trump because Donald Trump did something that ISIS hates, right? Donald Trump moved the capital of Israel to Jerusalem, right? That he just declared it. He said the real capital of Israel really needs to be Jerusalem. I support that. We are moving the American embassy there, and we ask all of the other, countries to do the same, which is something that just grates on, ISIS and people like that. And sure enough, now we've got PJ Media. This is a story by Bridget Johnson today, December 11th. New Times Square threat. ISIS backers, quote, recognize explosives as the capital of the U.S., right? And in that article, she says that the ISIS supporters online linked today's Port Authority bus terminal explosion in New York to last week's administration recognition of Jerusalem as the capital of Israel in a new propaganda poster. Bam! It's all Donald Trump's fault. And it's all Jerusalem's fault. And now we've got the proof. And Rush Limbaugh was right again. So there you go. It's Trump's fault. This guy, Kayed Ullah, that's his name. The reason that he felt compelled to try to strap a bomb on and partially blow himself up, even unsuccessfully, is because of Donald Trump. That's how this is going to go down. Donald Trump made him do it. Do you remember those shows back in the day? The devil made me do it. The devil made me do it. Well, Donald Trump made this poor Bangladeshi immigrant want to blow himself up because Donald Trump moved our embassy to Jerusalem. So it's on Donald Trump. That's how that's going to go.
And it's amazing that right after Trump moved the embassy to Jerusalem, there was an article from the dailymail.com that's titled Unleash, New Al-Qaeda Magazine describes in detail how to start huge forest fires across the U.S. with instructions on how to make an ember bomb. And what's happening?
I haven't heard this. Wait. Whoa. Back up. You mean all of the California fires, we can blame that on ISIS too? Are they targeting California and trying to burn it down? Read me this article. Seriously, AJ, what is this?
This is an article, like I said, it was from May 3rd, 2012. I know that's kind of old, but Al-Qaeda's magazine...
planning it for years.
I mean, I know it's kind of old, but this is definitely relevant things because anything that ISIS and Al-Qaeda are threatening with the U.S., they threaten about the World Trade Center, they usually come through. It's not tomorrow, it's not the next month, but they come through on it. I mean, look how many fires... there's no...
So they went online. How are these ISIS terrorists burning down California? I would like to hear this. How did this happen?
They are from...
What's the article say? And what is it from? Wait, what is this article from again? Where is it? Where did it come from?
dailymail.com. It's a UK
awesome.
paper.
That's an actual legit thing.
Exactly. It's actually that does reporting. Al-Qaeda has called upon its followers to unleash massive forest fires upon the United States this summer. Published in the latest edition of the notorious terror magazine Inspire are graphic instructions for the creation and ignition of ember bombs. Detailed in the memorable title, "It is for your freedom to ignite a firebomb." The magazine encourages any would-be terrorist to target Montana because of the rapid population growth in its wooded area. That is sickening and evil. It continues to go, in America, there are more houses built in the countryside than in the cities, explained the writer known as the Al-Qaeda chief, according to ABC News. Wow. And they go on to say it's difficult to choose a better place in the valleys of Montana. I say almost a better place is California for how dry it is. Honestly.
Oh yeah, it's terribly dry, and also because of the hills. If you start a fire down low on a hill, it travels up the hill very, very quickly, and that's what we're seeing there. So it's really been terrible, the smoke and just the devastation, and I think there've been some lives lost as well. So it's really truly devastating what's going on in California. So. I don't know if ISIS is to blame, but you know.
But that's something to have in the back of our minds. You have the subway bombing or the passage bombing in New York City. You have the fallout with Trump's switch with Jerusalem. I mean, in the Gaza Strip, they called it 2 days of rage because they're protesting words. I mean, they haven't even done anything. They're protesting words.
This was Palestinians, whoever they are, right? Those who live in Palestine, the state that doesn't exist, right? So there's no such thing. But anyway, these were basically unhappy people who decided to burn their own place down for 2 days. Was that it? They were rioting in the streets of Palestine-ish? Is that what we're talking about?
They absolutely were, yes. Absolutely.
This makes about as much sense as people who were rioting in L.A. during the Rodney King riots, and they were burning down their own neighborhoods. So they sound like about the same type of smart people here. Right?
So some other news of the week I wanted to get to is tomorrow is the special election for Jeff Sessions' seat in the Senate.
Judge Roy Moore versus
Doug Jones.
Doug Jones. Dun, dun, dun. The most hotly contested Senate race in ever, right?
Absolutely.
And the allegations of sexual impropriety have been slinging because the Democrats are so desperate to make sure that they can get one more Senate seat, especially in light of the fact that Al Franken had to resign after groping so many women that he couldn't joke his way out of it anymore.
But Susan, so I wonder if this, because Al Franken last Thursday said that in the coming weeks, I wonder if Roy Moore wins tomorrow, will Al Franken backtrack on that that he's going to resign and say and go, well, the GOP does not want to let out boot out a suspected.
Well, I think he's made a deal. I think the Democrat deep state operatives, they talked to him and said, look, what they're trying to do is the Democrat Party has to spin this. It has to be a way to reach voters, so that they're going to sacrifice Al Franken on the altar of feminism. That's what they're doing, because they're going for the feminist vote. They're all jumping on the vagina bandwagon, as it were, right? Because we have to do this hashtag Me Too. I'm calling it hashtag Me Too whatever, because everybody, it's all this social media, social justice warriors. Hashtags don't do anything, people. They don't do anything. What will work is if some pig is harassing you, you give him a right cross. That'll help. Or, the old-fashioned ladylike knee to the groin. That works every time it's tried. It's like saying no. I mean, but these hashtags, I'm not impressed. And I also want to know, okay, I'm glad everybody's now coming out and, saying that they've been harassed. But where were they last year before it was politically correct to do so?
It's all about whenever what's politically correct. And
whatever.
In other news of the week, what about the horrible Chelsea Handler making the YouTube video about how Sarah Huckabee Sanders puts her makeup on? I mean, have you seen that video? You have got to take a look at it. It was horrible. You're for women's right. Me too. You're a feminist, but yet you're attacking a woman that has a different opinion than you, that works for someone that has a different opinion than you. Where's the diversity of thought?
Well, this is the war on women always comes from the Democrats, and the worst warriors are women themselves. They're catty and conniving, and so I'm not surprising that Chelsea Handler wants to get at Sarah Sanders. Okay, that is the war on women, and she should know better, because you know what, everyone, you can do that to everybody. It's cheap. It's a cheap shot, and it's easy. But hey, I guess it works, because at the end of the day, they are all, look, these Democrats are feeding their frenzied base, and they have promised their frenzied base a delivery. The delivery is Donald Trump's head on a political platter, figuratively speaking. They want him impeached, and that's the end game. So they're going to continue to talk about, grabbing private parts, because he said that locker room talk. We don't have any allegations that he actually did anything, but hey, it doesn't matter. It's as you would put it, never let the truth get in the way of a good presentation. Same thing with Judge Roy Moore, right? We have allegations. There's several women, I think 7 of them. One of them has admitted to forging the yearbook, which the lawyer has yet to produce. Gloria Allred. I mean, anytime that Gloria Allred steps into the picture, you just kind of get the heebie-jeebies anyway. So that hasn't even been produced yet. But you see, again, the point is not the truth. The point is affecting the election that's going to happen tomorrow in Alabama. And after that election, if Roy Moore pulls it out and wins, although the polls right now, Fox News poll had him that, Doug Jones is up by 10. But if Roy Moore manages to pull it out, then they will continue the onslaught with him, always suggesting that somehow that he was dating young women when they were all over 18. But it doesn't matter, because their end game is to get Donald Trump out of the White House and return it to its rightful heir, Hillary Clinton.
oh my goodness. Hey, let's dive into the hashtag Me Too, which I think surrounds Roy Moore, surrounds Trump. See what I did there? Let's go ahead and take a break, Susan. You're listening to Common Sense Radio.
You're listening to the Lanterns Radio Network. We are the network dedicated to empowering the individual, illuminating the truth, defending American exceptionalism, and inspiring future generations. Stay connected and get involved at lanterns.buzz for great radio. Get commentary and news of the day. Lanterns.buzz.
every rising of the sun. My purpose was to be thankful to be alive. I was even more thankful for the blessings that came with this life, specifically Virdis, my wife. But that came to an end when Aklavane and her minions violently took her away from me. So my new purpose in this life is to gather all the pieces of the Stone's Heart so I can defeat Aklavane and get back my bride. Join me as I travel to new worlds, making new friends and avoiding old enemies. Read more about my story in the first 2 books of the Stone's Heart series, which are now available on Amazon.com in Kindle format. The first book is The Quest for Savitvarda, and that is followed by The Heart of Pagaila. Stone's Heart is more than a fantasy and a sci-fi quest. It's me fighting to get back my precious wife, despite the overwhelming odds against me. Stone's Heart. Join, explore, and believe.
Welcome back to the program. And Susan, I have to say, probably using "pull it out" is not the best phrase to use when we're talking about Roy Moore, Donald Trump, and especially the next segment, #MeToo.
So sorry, but I just don't think like a pig. I am so sorry for the unintended double entendre. Yes, I know I said that. Well, if Judge Roy Moore in the last segment, if Judge Roy Moore manages to pull it out, meaning the election, okay, I plead guilty. I'm sorry. I was not thinking like a pig. I am so sorry. Oh my goodness gracious.
We'll let it go. So, #MeToo is a hashtag that Alyssa Milano has started after Harvey Weinstein, whatever the hell his name is.
The
pig allegations came out, and he was literally a pig with all the allegations. And it seems like it's being overused, and it was honestly, I think, just a progressive tool to divide people. It's Watson sending me a message saying, "Make this a rated G network, Susan." So Watson's listening in live.
It's going to have to just keep me, honest here, I guess. I'm sorry, I just don't think of those little. Sometimes I do, but sometimes I miss some of the double entendres.
No really pun intended.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
And it's so funny that this Me Too movement has morphed into something that people feel empowered by just typing. Yes.
Really? Is that how weak feminists and feminine people are? Women are. We're that weak that we have to run crying to Twitter and go #MeToo. Oh, I'm sorry, but that is truly pathetic.
Really. You want me to tell you how pathetic it is? Did you see who was Time's Person of the Year?
Oh yeah, I saw that. Like #MeToo.
Yes, I mean that's. I mean it's actually
hashtag is the Person of the Year.
That doesn't make any sense. But
yet, I'll tell you it does, because think about it this way: they would rather give personhood to #MeToo. They'd rather give personhood to Twitter and stuff than they would to babies. You know that in the tax bill that they're kicking around now, the House version versus the Senate version. Did you know? I think you know. You sent me this. That the House version of the tax bill recognizes a fetus as a human baby.
Personhood is a clause.
It gives personhood to a fetus, that has got NARAL just screaming, just insane. They're cray-cray over that, because once you define something as a person, that changes how the law will react with that, that entity. Now it has legal standing to a degree, and NARAL is losing its collective mind. So, but I figure if a hashtag can be a Person of the Year, how come a fetus can't be? So
well, because it doesn't fit the agenda.
We need a Fetus of the Year.
Okay, I'm live tweeting right now, and I'm saying "Me Too, baby" to NARAL.
Oh, I like that. Me Too, baby. That's very good. NARAL and now and all these pro-aborts who just, I mean, they actually advertise and try to solicit funds because they want to kill babies in the womb. And that is, if you have to look at how most black people die in America? Is it as a result of black on black crime, white on black crime, police on black crime? I don't care whatever you pick, any statistic, and it pales in comparison to the abortion of black babies. That is the number one killer of blacks in America, is Planned Parenthood and abortion facilities.
It's absolutely disgusting. And if you want to engage with Susan and I on Twitter, I'm at Oregon Redskin, and Susan is at Real Susan Swift, and we like to use the hashtag hashtag Common Sense Radio and hashtag Make Believe Media. And the media makes up the news, and then they make you believe it. That's why I like to call it the Make Believe Media. and the new movement, the new hashtag that they're so proud of is hashtag Me Too What Next. And Susan, you text me once I sent that to you, is you said hashtag Me Too Whatever, because we both literally don't give a damn about any of this.
It doesn't, look, at the end of the day, a hashtag is not going to stop anything. As I said in the earlier segment, you want to stop sexual harassment, give him a right cross or a knee to the groin, or go after him, reveal him, out him. And her too. Do you know there are women? See, sexual harassment is not about sex so much. That's the byproduct. Sexual harassment is a power play. Women can do it to men at the workplace too. It's not as common, but that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. And men can be, intimidated because he's like, I've just got to get through my day with this boss. This woman's always coming and whispering in my ear or whatever, and she's making me crazy. Men get harassed all the time, but you know what? I'd like to say they're big boys, and you know what? They can put up with it because they're stronger people. And I think that women, if there's any empowering that needs to be done, we need to be talking to our daughters when they are young, because that's the time when they're unsure of themselves and they're a little bit nervous. Like these young actresses who they wanted their big break and they didn't know if they should say anything because, the producer might not like me. That right there. That's the moment at which your mother's voice or your father's voice should be whispering in your ear, from childhood days, saying, honey, you're better than this. And I don't care if you get this job, and you shouldn't either. You shouldn't let a man do this, or you shouldn't let a woman do this. And that's where the empowering has to happen, is in families and in strong families and in strong cultures that value honesty. But a hashtag, Me Too, what next? Whatever.
I know how to help this.
Nothing.
I know how to cure this. I know how to, Susan.
Let's hear it, AJ.
I need you to give me the utmost respect.
Yourself.
You need to give this the utmost respect.
Cleansing breath, with pregnancy.
Okay, on Friday, feminist Laura Witt put together a top 10 list that you should ask on a first date. Are you ready? Do you want me?
On a first? Did you say on a first date or on a first rape? Because I think they're the same thing now, right? Rape and date. If a guy asks you out on a date, it's a rape, I think.
Well, my son turns 10 on Thursday, and this is the list that I'm going to beat into his head. Okay, number 1. No, you know what? I'm going to start at 10 because number 1.
Go ahead, start at 10.
10.
Let's
10.
10 things to ask on your first date. Rape date.
Does your allyship include disabled folks?
Does your allyship
include disabled folks? I mean, that's
allyship.
I don't know. The look on your face right now was priceless because I'm just as lost as you.
I'm just thinking maybe I misheard what you said because I'm feeling quite ignorant now. I don't know what an allyship is.
Okay. I'm going to Google that just so we don't look ignorant.
Hashtag Me Too whatever. I don't know. So does it include disabled
here you
people?
go.
Yes,
Allyship.
I would disabled people on my allyship.
Oh, and the website that it comes from is feministhumanist.org, and you'll love this. Allyship is not an identity. It is a lifelong process of building relationships based on trust, consistency, and accountability with marginalized individuals and or groups of people.
I don't even know what that is. So an allyship is nothing. It's a touchy-feely feminist vagina thing. Okay, so
correct.
So I don't have one of those. So since I don't have an allyship, of course there wouldn't be anybody on it, whether they're disabled or not. So next,
number 9. Do you support Muslim Americans and non-Muslim people from Islamic countries?
Support as in like an athletic supporter or what? I mean, support them to do what?
I don't. It doesn't make any sense. Yes.
What kind of a stupid question is that?
That is. I have friends that are Muslims, Americans.
I support their right to believe their religion,
Absolutely.
so long as their religious beliefs don't harm mine. So if their religious beliefs include terrorism, like blowing yourself up with a bomb, then no, I don't support that. I support their.
Well, that's
right
not religion. Religion is not to kill people. That's terror.
Well, I don't know. According to the Quran, there are sections in there that some Muslims point to justify terrorist attacks on non-Muslims. Okay, I don't know what the religion says, but I'm just saying, okay, if the question is, do I support Muslims in general? They obviously have a right to live, of course, and I support their right to practice their religion freely. I mean, I support they have a nation, but I mean, what am I supposed to? What's the right answer?
There is no right answer.
Yes, no matter what, I'm supposed to give up my life and my religion and my country and give it all to them, and I should start wearing a burqa? Is that? I mean,
no,
is that the test?
Not at all. Susan and I are talking the feminist list of top 10 questions you ask on your first date, and credit goes
on
to
your first date. Oh, and I'm supposed to ask this on a date.
Yes.
I should be reading this list to you. Oh, so I should have to ask you: do you support Muslim people or whatever?
Well,
hashtag whatever.
Number 8.
You know what? You're going to guarantee you're never going to have another date with this guy. So he must be ugly when you're talking. Ugly and poor. Okay, go ahead. What's number 8?
Number 8. Can any human be illegal?
No.
Okay. Number 7. Susan. Hold on. You're gonna love number 7. Number 8. I mean, that's typical progressive, crap. Number 7.
Yes, a fetus is illegal.
No. Sit down. Get your mug of wine. Do you think capitalism is exploitive?
Absolutely not. That's the one thing that helps everybody. It doesn't exploit anybody. In fact, it allows everyone to come to the table and sell or exchange or barter. That's the one thing that is not exploitive.
Capitalism let the Bangladesh guy use a firecracker to castrate himself.
Oh, capitalism didn't do that. That was Barry Soetoro's immigration policy that allowed chain migration. That's what that is, and that's basically a step toward socialism. Don't blame that on capitalism. If it had been capitalism, he would have had to pay to get his way in here instead of coming in here for free.
Okay, number 6. What is this? And this is actually a very important one, so I want you to treat it very with all due respect.
All right, with all due respect.
What is your understanding of settler colonialism and indigenous rights?
Well, first of all, there is no such thing as indigenous people in this continent. They all came over. Everybody in America and Canada and we all immigrated. Some of us earlier than others. Some of us walked across the Bering Straits long, long ago. And they are as American as we are. Other people came in on boats. So if we're going to go down that route, then we have to at least be historically accurate. There were no people over here. No, nobody started here. Everybody started over on the other continents in the Garden of Eden and spread that way, and they walked over the Bering Straits. So indigenous people, there is no such thing in America.
This number 5 is something that I don't know.
I'm not getting on this date, MIC. Nobody's going to date.
Yeah, you wouldn't make it past question 10. I had to Google this. Are you a supporter of the BDS movement?
BDS, I don't even know what that is.
Boycott, divestment, sanctions movement works to end international support for Israel's oppression of Palestinians and pressure Israel to comply with international law. See, you're taking this as a joke. You're taking this as a joke. This is a serious question, Susan. This is serious.
Triggered. Okay, I'll give you the answer. Israel won the war. They've won several wars, and if you want to go all the way back, to long, long ago, God gave Israel to the Jewish people. And that deed is recorded in the Bible. So there's that. That they have the only legit claim to the area in the first place. Secondly, they've defended that land and had many wars and have successfully defended their land. And you know what? To the victor goes the spoils. So the Palestinians are the losers in that war, and they should just be happy that they're allowed to live anywhere. And they should stop harassing Israel. Did I win that question? Is anybody
winner chicken dinner? Number 4, we're talking the top 10 questions to ask on your first date that provided by the dailywire.com, which is just a fantastic list so far.
And it comes from, but it's not the Daily Wire's list. It's
the Daily Wire had posted it. Feminist Laura Witt.
Feminist Laura Witt. A crazy feminist. Okay, crazy feminist. The 10 top crazy feminist questions to ask on your first date. This is
yes.
Now. I guess we're assuming that the feminist would be asking the man, but you know what? The feminist might be asking a woman.
Whoa! Gender is fluid.
That's going on. Gender is very fluid, and I don't want to inadvertently trigger somebody.
No. And number 4 are, what are your thoughts on sex work?
Yeah, it's work. Okay.
Yeah.
Next.
Number 3, how do you work to dismantle sexism and misogyny in your life? Misogyny, whatever. I'm a country boy.
Misogyny.
Please. Yeah, I know. I have the answer for this. If this was, I'm a happily married man, but if I was out on a date, if I wasn't married, and this was a question, you know what I would say?
What?
Hashtag me too.
There you go. That's right.
That's how I would. And coming in at number 2, do you have any guess of what number 2 is? Even just the topic.
What?
Do you have a guess? Come on.
I have no guess. I can't. I didn't even know what a BDS was or an alley ship. For goodness' sake.
I didn't either. But hey, that's the wonderful thing about Google. What are your thoughts on gender and sexual orientation?
Oh, okay. This is really easy for me.
What a date!
Yeah, right. What a date. At this point, well, I guess that should have been the first question right out of the box, because then you could have saved a lot of money. See, if you're a guy and you ask this question of the gal and she's got the wrong answer, you can just, pay for her drink and leave. You don't have to end up with buying the lobster dinner and the dessert and hoping that you're going to get something afterwards. Okay. So yeah. So how my gender, what is the question again? Gender.
Number 2 of the top 10 questions you should ask on a first date by a feminist. What are your thoughts on gender and sexual orientation?
Thoughts. Well, I'll give her credit. At least she used the word thoughts instead of feelings, because that's what they usually use. How do you feel about gender? It's like, my gosh, I don't go feeling gender. Thinking. That's a better question. So what are your thoughts on gender and everything? Okay, I'll tell you what my thoughts are. There are 2 genders. They are biologically defined by chromosomes. One is XY, one is XX. Okay, that's male and female. There is a very small minority, which is an aberration, a genetic abnormality, when you can have an XXY when there's a small combination. However, that is an abnormal result. So there are only 2 genders. Do I believe that people have preferences? Sure, everybody has preferences. I like chocolate, you like vanilla, things like that. Those preferences are things that you can act on or you can choose not to act on. How you choose to act on them makes you a pig or not. If you choose to act on them responsibly in a way with another person lovingly and in an honest and controlled relationship, okay, that's pretty okay. If you're going to be like, I don't know, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and sleep with everybody and his sister, I mean whatever, then you're being a pig, and that doesn't depend on your preference. That depends on how you execute your preference. So I look at behavior to determine whether a person is an honorable person or not. And their own preferences are kind of their own businesses. And if they're private and they are honorable, that's their preference, that's fine. But if they're going to get in my face and if they're going to dictate to me what I'm allowed to feel, then they're being bullies. And if they're going to be using other people, whether they're male or female, for, I don't know, sexual playgrounds, then they're pigs. Easy.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And like I told my friend Riaz Patel, he's a TV producer and a gay Muslim Pakistani. I said, Riaz, I don't care if you want to be married
He's over here, because over there he'd get thrown off a building.
Exactly.
Glad he's here.
I am too. I told him, I said, I don't care if you want to marry a toaster. Just leave me alone. That's what I tell people. No, seriously. That's every time an argument about gay marriage or sexual orientation, I said, I don't care if you want to identify as a toaster. I don't care if you want to marry a toaster. Just leave me alone. I just want to be left alone. Go about my business.
But that the problem is that's not what their agenda is about. The ones I call them the homoculturalists, and that's a defined term that I created to identify the militant, gay, lesbian, LGBTQ, RST, YXYZ question mark. Those the people who are the social activists in the homosexual phalanx, if you will, of the Democrat Party. I call them homoculturalists because they are so intolerant that they're forcing their intolerance on us. Really, they want everyone to be treated the way they want to be treated. It's kind of wacky. So I look at that and I say, you're trying to redefine marriage, which is already a defined term. Now, I don't really have a problem if you want to invent a new term for it. You can, and we actually have laws that honor and recognize your ability to cohabitate. You register as a partner thing. Those things they already exist, but that's not good enough for the militant homoculturalist. He or she demands that I redefine marriage, that the Catholic Church redefine marriage, that religions redefine marriage, which has been set since the Stone Age as one man, one woman. That's not good enough for them. And the reason why, that there's always a political bend to it. They'll couch it in touchy-feely emotional things is, we can't feel like we're married and when nobody treats us the same. Well, that's just a cover, and those are sometimes they use people as useful idiots to advance that. The real agenda is political. For example, in California, when they tried it and they were successful here, they want to redefine marriage because by redefining what marriage is, all the way through the civil code, that term marriage no longer means one man, one woman. It means a man and a man, a woman and a woman, a man and a goat, whatever. It's whatever you've now redefined it to be. And it's like a little puzzle piece. You now have redefined it. And in the education code, because you are mandated under the education code to teach marriage and, those types of things to kids, all of a sudden now the homoculturalists have public money to teach an agenda to children starting in kindergarten in the law because they've redefined the term. That's the agenda, so that they can push their social agenda, their sexual agenda through the public schools into the home. That's why they did it. And that is where I say is wrong. You can, tolerance is just fine, and you can create your own terminology, and I can be tolerant with it. But when you start interfering with the larger culture and my rights to define what marriage has always been, not my rights, but culture's rights, that's gone too far.
I hear you. So are you ready to hear the number one reason? Or the number one question?
I thought the gender question was it. I'm so sorry.
No. Are you ready, Susan? Okay.
Number one question to ask on a date rape date thing.
But okay, make a guess. You've got the gender one out of the way. You've got the BDS movement. I mean, I know in the alley show. Those are the top three.
I don't identify with these wacky feminists, these, who are jumping on the vagina bandwagon. And they wear them on their hats. I just can't even think that way. It's just so weird. So go ahead, tell me.
So wait. Can I time out right there? So you didn't want me to get you one for Christmas?
Oh.
One of those hats? Because I already bought it.
Okay, well, you can give it to your wife and see if she likes it. Yeah, you tell me how that works out now.
Okay. The number one reason, or the number one question to ask on a date from feminists, do you believe that Black Lives Matter?
Absolutely, I believe Black Lives Matter, especially in the womb. Absolutely. Every black baby has a right to be born. Every last one of them. And that's why I think NARAL and Planned Parenthood are criminal organizations. We should haul them up on RICO statutes for murder.
Murder. All right, Susan. Well, let's go ahead. Let's take a break. And then on the
Do you think I'd get a date? Do you think I'm going to get a date with this feminist? Did she date me?
I'm going to take a poll. Hey, if you think Susan will get a date for those questions, use the hashtag Common Sense Radio, hashtag Make Believe Media, and tweet at the real Susan Swift and at Oregon Redskin. And on the other side of the break, we'll see if anyone wants to date her from the questions she asked.
Just FYI, for the Sadie Hawkins dance in high school, I had to ask 8 guys. Do you know how many accepted? Not one. I had to have a blind date. Just saying. That was in Texas.
All right. Well, use the hashtag Common Sense Radio and hashtag Make Believe Media. You're listening to Common Sense Radio on the Lanterns Radio Network.
Hi, we're the Bells of Liberty. You can listen to us on Lanterns Radio Network.
New shows air every Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern.
You can find us on Spreaker, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, and iHeartRadio, and on Twitter at Bells of Liberty. See you then.
Hi, it's Blake Johnson, and you can listen to my show, The Blake Johnson Program, every Monday evening at 9/8 Central on lanterns.buzz. Here, I'll delve into the news of the day and anything related to politics, movies, music, faith, and more. Nothing is off limits. This is our meeting ground for conservatives, libertarians, Christians, all liberty lovers. The Blake Johnson Program, every Monday evening at 9/8 Central, only on lanterns.buzz.
Hey everybody, I'm Matt Holloway, host of the HoloNet podcast on the Lanterns Media Network from Phoenix, Arizona. And you can catch our show every week live at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. For those of you who live in Central Time, I don't know what that is because I don't feel like doing math. No, I'm kidding. It's 6 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, every Sunday here on the Lanterns Media Network, where we hold the line against the night and lift up our light to shine it into the darkness. Don't miss it. Again, that's the HoloNet podcast here on the Lanterns Media Network.
Hello, America. Michael Murphy, Voice of Reason here. I hope you'll join me Thursday evenings live at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. See you there.
Welcome back to the program, folks. You're listening to Common Sense Radio. And Susan, I have some bad news for you.
Oh, no. What is it, AJ?
Well, hold on. I'm hitting the notifications on Twitter. Nobody wants to date with you after your
I'm
answers
going
on that.
stag again. I'm reliving high school. Had to have a blind date to homecoming from another school. I'm not even kidding you. My dad had to set up. He was a very tall basketball player, really nice guy, but that was my blind date to homecoming.
Okay, so for the remainder of the show, I found an article on futurism.com that really bothered me. It's scary. It's titled China's Social Credit System Will Rate How Valuable You Are as a Human. It's a world first. That's good to know. That's good to know that it's the first one in the world. China's plan to implement a social credit system, officially referred to as a social credit score or SCS, by 2020. The idea first appeared in a document from the State Council of China, published in 2014.
Here's what this is. It's really scary.
It's absolutely scary.
It's a gauge for every citizen in China would be given a score as a matter of public record. And this score would be available for everyone to see. So this score, the citizen score comes, citizen just bugs me right there. You're a good Chinese citizen. You're a bad Chinese citizen. So this citizen score comes from monitoring an individual's social behavior. Kind of like what we were joking about in the first section, the Department of
Online Services.
So, China already, they're monitoring everybody. They don't even let you have babies over there unless you apply for permission, because it used to be one child, per family. Now it's up to 2. So they're not kidding when they say monitoring. So this citizen score comes from monitoring an individual's social behavior, everything from their spending habits and how they regularly pay their bills to their social interactions. I would assume that would be, Facebook or the Chinese equivalent thereof.
The WeChat messaging app.
Oh, the what?
That's where, if you go a little bit further down, it says both Rapid Finance and Sesame Credit have access to intimidating quantities of data. The former, though, is WeChat messaging app at present with 850 million active users, and the latter through its Ally Pay payment service. So, they have these companies are starting to work with the Chinese government to get this in full swing by 2020. So, okay, I forgot to pay my electric bill. I'm on WeChat all day long. I'm only getting 3 grains of rice. My score is 12. Okay, well,
that's right, and if
scary.
you don't have a high enough score, then people can probably, I guess, look you up or not, and see if they want to date you, or if you're going to be a high enough class. This is the ultimate class system, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And these companies are participating. Well, do they have a choice? This is China, after all. This is the Chi-Coms. It's just really, really scary. Proponents of this scoring system see this as an opportunity to improve on some of the state's services. Oh, I'll bet. Woo! Some argue this would give Chinese citizens much needed access to financial services. Oh, really? If they've got the high enough score, right? The government also says that it will allow the trustworthy to roam everywhere under heaven while making it hard for the discredited to take a single step. That's social shunning.
It's absolutely
wow.
Scary. Because if China's pushing it, what other countries are going to be pushing it?
What a utopian goal. Well, yeah, this is the dream of the global, the world global controllers. That's what this is. I'm sure Soros is interested in this. It's a utopian goal of managing citizen finances. See, it's all about the money. Follow the money. Via structural checks and balances, it feels like an elegant solution to assuage public debt.
And this is what's scary at the end. The SCS, the Chinese government, will actually hit 2 birds with 1 stone. They will have a way of promoting and enforcing what they consider to be socially acceptable behavior. Thank goodness we live in the free United States of America. And they will have a way of monitoring virtually all aspects of citizens' lives. And that's, like you just said, control, wow. control.
Yep. That's scary stuff. Well, that's why we fight
for freedom, for liberty.
That's why this matters. That's why, like, the battle right now going on, political battle in Alabama matters, because whether you like Doug Jones or not, he is a Democrat and he believes in big government control. So even if Judge Roy Moore is not your cup of tea, even if you have a problem with whatever. To me, it sounds like maybe lies that they're coming up with, but whatever. He is the lesser of the problems, because the problem is government control of individuals. What we need is much more individual freedom and much less government control. And we are battling, America and Donald Trump is battling against people like the government of China who want to control everyone and the world.
I got an update. Somebody sent in a tweet. Susan will be loaded into a paddy wagon and I Love Me jacket to undergo 367 days of cultural sensitivity training and diversity celebration suite. Thank you, Watson. Hey, you're listening
I love Watson.
I will see you next week, Susan. I can't believe an hour's already gone by. You're
all
listening
right.
to Common Sense Radio on the Lanterns Radio Network.
watch out.
You're listening to the Lanterns Radio Network. We are the network dedicated to empowering the individual, illuminating the truth, defending American exceptionalism, and inspiring future generations. Stay connected and get involved at lanterns.buzz for great radio. Get commentary and news of the day. Lanterns.buzz.